The Dow up 605 points at the bell, closing the week back over 40K as the U.S. works on trade deals with multiple countries while still going head-to-head with China, which made another retaliatory move today, boosting tariffs on U.S. goods to 125% after a U.S. increase to 145% on Chinese imports.
A foreign ministry spokesperson in Beijing says, quote, China does not want to fight these wars but is not scared of them. Let me stress that if the U.S. truly wants to resolve the issue through dialogue and negotiation, it should stop maximum pressure and capricious and destructive behavior. This never works with China. China also says it is finished raising rates no matter how high the U.S. goes. They said already their goods aren't marketable in the United States with tariff levels are where they currently sit.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House, which says President Trump is still open to a deal with China. The president's having his annual physical today at Walter Reed Medical Center. A Fox News alert from an immigration judge in Louisiana, just getting word the deportation case against former grad student Mahmoud Khalil can proceed, stemming from protests at Columbia University. His attorneys say Khalil's free speech rights are being violated. Divers still searching for pieces of wreckage from yesterday's helicopter crash into the Hudson River between New York City and New Jersey, killing a family of 5 from Spain and the pilot. The National Transportation Safety Board says the pilot had served in the military and had nearly 800 hours total flight time.
We still need to calculate flight time in that Bell helicopter, and I'll have more information on that hopefully tomorrow because he previously was flying a Robinson 44.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Hamady says it's too soon to know the cause of the crash. America is listening to Fox News.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
A proposed makeover of the U.S. aviation system gets a thumbs up from the president.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says President Trump is on board with a plan to revamp and modernize the Federal Aviation Administration's current system of handling flights. Speaking at the FAA Technical Center in New Jersey, Duffy says he has talked to him about the need for an upgrade, calling it state of the art.
Gold-plated, envy of the world air traffic control system that we want to deploy. I think we can do it in 3 years. Maybe it'll be 4.
Duffy says he plans to ask Congress for all the money up front instead of relying on yearly funding. The FAA says it oversees 45,000 flights and almost 3 million passengers each day. In New York, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
A suspected bomb goes off in Athens, Greece, outside the offices of the country's main railway company. No reports of any injuries. Shortly before the explosion, a newspaper and a news website reportedly received an anonymous call warning that a bomb had been planted. No word on a motive, but there has been public anger over a deadly disaster in 2023 when a freight train and passenger train were accidentally put on the same track and collided. A day of mixed news for the U.S. economy, including another good inflation report.
Inflation at the wholesale level cooled last month. Economists were expecting a small increase. The producer price index declined 0.4%. The core PPI, excluding food and energy, was down 0.1%. For the year ending in March, the PPI rose 2.7%. The core PPI on an annual basis up 3.3%. All the numbers show improvement from February.
Fox's Ginny Cosola. That's after yesterday's report on falling consumer prices, but consumer sentiment also dropping for a 4th straight month in the University of Michigan's index. The Dow and the S&P, though, gaining more than 1%. The NASDAQ up more than 2%. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign and vicinity. Quiet spell of weather ahead for today and into the weekend with an uptick in temperatures and finally a little more typical spring feel across the area. Short-lived, once again, a pair of cold fronts on the move over the back end of the weekend and by the middle and late parts of next week as well. Bring those temperatures down below average. At least, again, a quieter weather picture here for the next 5 to 10 days for openers. Partly sunny, 55 today with a light northeast to east wind, getting a bit gusty for the midday and afternoon. Mostly clear, colder tonight. Areas of frost and a light freeze late, lows 28 to 32. Tomorrow, areas of frost early on, sunshine, the high around 60 as winds turn light west-southwest. Increasing clouds, not as chilly, 39 tomorrow night. Sunday becoming breezy, milder, partly cloudy, and 67. Up close to 70 on Monday with maybe a shower or two in the morning hours. And breezy, cooler weather Tuesday, highs up to 57. Maybe a frost patch Wednesday morning, the high near 60. Back into the 60s and a shower chance next Thursday. For CPJ Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
What's up? Happy Friday. It is The Drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Derek Piper, Lonte.
Well, good morning.
And Kyle Tosk.
How is everybody?
Doing great, man.
Sorry for dipping out
you.
for the rest of the week.
Yeah, good excuse.
Yeah, we had a game Monday, doubleheader Tuesday, game Wednesday, game yesterday, doubleheader tomorrow. No game today. So I woke up this morning and I was sitting there in bed for a second and I was like, I'm doing the radio show today. That's how bad it is. So, yeah, I'm happy to be back. I don't know what you guys have talked about except NIL stuff.
Transfer portal, NIL. It's a lot of that. Some Masters mixed in there.
Oh, yeah. My guy Morikawa, well, I won't say in case you're watching, but he's not up in the leaderboard anywhere close. I'll just put it that way. So if you're like me and had him. So I saw a report, you did it, actually, on Illini Inquirer about a player that's wanting like $3 million or something. And
Ian Jackson from North Carolina.
I'm just like, I don't even know who that is. And now that's my fault. He's obviously a good player, but this morning was like I drew the line this morning. Like, this isn't fun anymore. It's not fun, number one, because, and listen, I don't care how much people make. I hope you make as much money as possible in life. You know, you do you and try to make as much as you can. So I don't blame the players and what they're going after here. And obviously the increase in this pay has like tripled in the last 2 years, it seems like. And it's just one of those where I look at that and it's like, okay, I don't care. That's great for them, but I also don't have to enjoy it. And I also don't have to watch it. You know, and it's just like, and the thing that drives me nuts, I think, more than anything is that this idea that it's become the wild, wild west where you literally will have a new team every year. And I don't know that that's that fun for the fan, the casual fan. Because, you know, like, we're kind of romantic when it comes to, you know, I always go back to this team, the Corey Bradfords of the world, the Lucas Johnsons, the Archibalds, and we watched them for 4 years essentially grow together. And, you know, you're never going to have that again. And you're lucky if you've got a kid. Well, Ty Rodgers could be that guy. Coleman Hawkins was the last, and he didn't even finish here. You know, Luke Goody you felt like he was one of those. He didn't finish here. So it's one of those that as you watch it materialize, like if Ty Rodgers goes off this year, then he's going to go to the highest bidder, right? I mean, he's going to try his hand at that, and I don't blame him. Again, I don't blame these guys for taking advantage of what's going on right now, but I don't have to like it. And I don't know how much fun it will be next year. I'm sure I'm talking out, you know what, and next year when the season or later this year when the season rolls around, I'll be like, all right, here we go. It's Illinois basketball. Let's get ready to roll. Who is it again at shooting guard? You know, I mean, that's the problem is that I just sit there and I'm like, So I don't know. I don't know what can be done about it, but it just seems dirty to me now. And it's even to the point where we talk all about it, at least on the professional level, you are signed for a couple of years to where you know how to basically understand what your roster next year is going to look like and what pieces you need to add, what you're losing, who you might want to try to bring back in free agency. In college, it's essentially, well, you're going to have a brand new team every year. And I for one, just don't like that. It's not very fun for me.
I get it. Yeah. From the professional side of things, which in a number of ways it's gone in that direction where this is professional basketball, professional football, just at the college level in terms of what the athletes are getting and as far as that goes. And now there's reasons you're seeing GMs hired and people who are in charge of having to determine these are our resources and we're trying to allocate this to this and build a roster that way. But like you said, in the pros, when you draft a player, you're going to get them for 4 years, most likely, if you want to pick up their options. Use the NBA, for example, which we've gone back to a number of times looking at the rookie contracts for, say, a Will Riley, if he were to go, and first 2 years guaranteed, no matter what happens. And then the team that he's on, if they like him and want to keep him, then they can pick up the option in year 3 and year 4. So you'd at least have that before then he becomes in the open market as far as that goes. So yes, signing contracts that have multiple years to it. Now look, I think on the other side, those of us that, we have pro teams that we root for, we love the roster building part of it. We love doing mock drafts. We love looking at free agency and seeing who's all available. And I think adding that to the college game is exciting in some capacity, obviously. But the idea that everybody, if they want to be, is available every single year is head spinning at the very least, if not maddening or frustrating and all that kind of thing. So we've talked a lot about different things that you can nitpick and say that need to be better. Like the idea now that you can sign an NIL deal and then say, whoa, okay, we appreciate the offer. We signed it. We agreed to it. But now we want more.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, we got more. No, actually, we want more. And then it doesn't work out, and you go somewhere else, Bryce Johnson. And
in Tennessee dealing with this right now?
There's talk of that, with
the quarterback.
Nico. Yeah, Nico, the quarterback there.
Well, and that's to piggyback that real quick. I can remember you saying, like, the first couple of years we dealt with this, it was like, well, at the very least, it's fun, right? It is kind of cool to understand. And Illinois worked the system to their advantage.
Absolutely.
And you've commented on that before. And that's great that they did. And I'm glad that I pull for a university that has the means to go out and at least compete with some of the bigger schools in terms of spending money. But now, to me, that's not even really that fun anymore. Like, to me now, you've got guys that, don't deserve anywhere near what they're going to try to make and probably make. But teams are going to get desperate. And then you've got the situation where does it end? Like, okay, so I'm making this up. I have no idea. I haven't talked to you about something like this. But it's like, okay, so if Illinois got let's say an NIL budget of $5 million, well, next year it's got to be 7. Then the next year it's got to be 9. Then it's got to be 11. Then you got to, so when does that end? At some point you can't afford to do it anymore. So is it a situation where, like Major League Baseball, like, policed itself there for a while when everybody was getting crazy contracts and it ventured on the era of almost like collusion. Like, all right, all the owners got together and said, we're done. We're just not throwing. Now, you can't do that. That's illegal. But it was almost a situation where it's like, you better take that 2-year, $40 million deal because I don't know if there's anything out there for you. I don't know if college gets to that or if the blue bloods, if you will, or if those programs, even like Illinois, that can continue to spend are just going to continue to spend. So I don't know. I don't have much input financially into it, so I don't know that I should have an opinion on this. I'd love to meet the person that's throwing out all this money and get their opinion on it and just say, all right, what do you think of this? You're doling out $1 million every year. What do you think? Next year they're going to ask you for $2 million. So it's just, I don't know. It's, the business side of it has come into it. And that was fine at first. I pushed back a little, but it was fine at first. Now it's just to the point where it's just it's not even fun anymore for me. And it's almost as though I know you can't do this, although you'd probably love to. I almost just want to shut the TV off after March Madness ends and then turn it back on in October and say, what do we got? Oh, I know that guy. I remember Jake Davis. But, I mean, other than that, what's the point of me sitting here every day except to read your articles, which I have to admit, I immediately click on them. I mean, they're great. They're great for you. They're great for clicks, especially. I know you don't do it for clicks, but, it's one of those where it's like if I see that Piper's got a new article out, on something about recruiting, then I'm back in it and I'm reading it as quick as any Illinois fan. But I'm just sitting there. The stuff I'm reading is just making me shake my head now. And it's just, I don't know. I'll quit being the old guy. I hope Illinois I'll leave it at this. I hope Illinois continues to be able to afford to stay with the top, because whether this had the impact it did with regards to 4 number ones making the Final Four and battling for a championship, it used to be in the old days that you kind of understood the teams that cheated, and they were the ones that most of the time were winning or at least getting to Final Fours. And then you kind of corrected that a little bit where everybody kind of had equal footing, but now it's not corrected anymore because SIU can't spend the kind of money Illinois does. Illinois can't spend the kind of money North Carolina does. Or BYU.
And you just got those random examples of the never endless flow of cash from certain places, like a BYU.
And so now we're right back to where we were 20 years ago or 10 years ago, where it's all above board now, I think. I mean, it basically.
It's all legal.
It's all legal. So where it used to not be and teams would just be so good and you're like, and then things come out on occasion with Adidas shoe deals and stuff, and Sean Miller loses a job and this and that. So there were a little bit of a repercussion to that, but now there's none. And you're right back to where you were, where there's like the haves and kind of that middle area, and then really the have-nots that will never be able to play in the big boys pool. I mean, they're in the kiddie pool constantly. So I don't know. I don't know that I enjoy that. I don't know that if I were Kyle's age or even your age, Derek, when I still was fully vested in sports, I guess I would just suck it up and just play the game. I'm to the point now where it's like, I don't know that I need to enjoy this that much. And that's too bad. So, I don't know. I mean, do other people feel like me, I wonder? I mean, I'll ask the listeners, do you feel like me, or am I just like whining on my porch and need to go back inside and relax? Because it's dirtying the game for me when I know that there's some kid that even 2 years ago would have made maybe $50,000 to be on your team, and now they're saying I want $1 million or I'm not even coming.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
We all watched Brock Harding play at Iowa. The idea that guy's going to be worth $800,000. That's more than Terrence Shannon got, I think, or close to in his final year. I told you guys before the show, to use an example, Malik Moore, the guard from Montana, who I wrote about earlier this week and Illinois had a Zoom call with, doesn't sound like Illinois is going to be involved with him going forward because I think his price tag's too high. I think for a starting level low to mid-major guard who put up good numbers, really good shooter, but at that level, it used to be if you're going from the Big Sky to the Big Ten, you're happy to be there.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I want to play in the Big Ten under brighter lights, bigger opportunities, and that's good enough for me. Now, I understand the money that's made on the other side of it with Illinois raking in big money via TV contracts. I'm not against players getting paid. I am kind of like in 2 years, we've gone from Terrence gets $750,000 or thereabouts to a Montana guard gets $1 million plus. Wow. And Illinois isn't going to be the one to pay that. So,
and he's not going to get drafted in the first round, I doubt.
I would not think so. And Ian Jackson, like $3 million is crazy. But at the same time, I get it from his standpoint. That's where the market's gone. But like you said, in the span of 2 years, for when $1 million player was really a top level investment,
right?
Your star and there might be, you can count on one hand in your league, like in the Big Ten, there'd be 5 or less guys making $1 million in a season, to now where a Montana guard wants $1 million and a freshman at North Carolina who put up 12 a game is going to get 3.
Gee,
like that's where it's crazy.
It is. And I'm almost to the point now where if I'm a high 4 or even a 5-star, I'm going to SIU. I'm going there and I'm averaging 28 a game my freshman year. And then guess what?
Cashing in the portal.
Then I'm going to be like, all right, the price tag starts at $5 million. Go. And like if you can't get to 5, I don't even want to hear from you. Because why would I do that or come to Illinois? Let's say I'm this unbelievable guard out of Villa Grove, which, I kind of was. Yeah, right. So if I'm this unbelievable guard out of Villa Grove that everybody wants in the country, and I'm down to my final 2 of SIU and Illinois, and I'm like, well, I could go to Illinois, play behind Kylan, but play. I'm like Will Riley. Let's say you have a Will Riley kind of year, or I could go to SIU and average 27 or 28 a game in the Valley. I'm doing that. I'm going to SIU to do that because then my sophomore year, I'm going to collect big. Now, Will obviously would collect big, so maybe my example's poor, but I don't know. Like, I got excited because you threw in somebody in your article that averaged 18 a game 2 years ago, I think, but only played like 5 games this year. So I don't know. Is he that good? Can he come here? What does that translate?
Yeah, Cedric Coward, who was at Eastern Washington, put up like 18 a game, and then this past year was at Washington State and only played 6 games.
Okay. So is he going to be able to come here and score 16 a game? You hope, right? You hope you get the Tanjay. I always say it wrong. Tanjay. And a guy that could score at will. So
rather than the Mark Allstork.
I was trying to think. I was literally going back.
The example. There's a lot of guys who have tried to make the jump from mid-major to high major, and it doesn't work out.
No.
And he was one of those guys.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a guy like that there was one guy, he won't come to my – it's not Arius Davis, but it was somebody in that mold that came to Illinois, and he literally couldn't dribble with his left hand. Now, this was way back when you weren't getting money, but I don't know, Derek. And then, I don't know how you do what you do trying to figure this out. And here's my next question. When they do, like you say they set up a Zoom call with the kid – is the first question literally how much is it going to take? And then that Zoom call could last 28 seconds. Mm-hmm. I'm already seeing like, well, it's going to take $2 million for me. And then you just see Brad Underwood has left the conversation, right? It's just a black screen.
Right. It's funny. I was talking to an agent earlier this week, and he kind of got on this soapbox. He's like, okay, so one of the frustrating things to be a part of this side of it, but knowing how some other people do it, is that you'll sit on a Zoom, or another agent will sit on a Zoom with the team, discuss, what you normally discuss in terms of fit and the things that they have to sell, but it gets to the point of what it would cost.
Yeah.
And they say, a team could do a great job of presenting everything that would need to happen, and you present your money. And look, I know this isn't going to be any different than things that go on in business.
Right. No, right.
You say your number, and maybe that sounds great at the time, but then right after that agent is going to text or set up Zooms with a bunch of other people, and as soon as that number gets matched or beat, they're going to come back and say, let's do another Zoom and talk about more money. So
it's Price is Right.
Yeah, right. I think the problem too is, again, like in the current construction, you can literally put your name on a dotted line and still negotiate it up.
That's crazy.
So that's a problem. Like, that does not happen in, like, you sign a contract in the business world. Like,
right.
That's a contract.
Right.
Sign a contract in as far as in the pro ranks, you're locked up now.
Yep. That's what you agreed to. That's exactly what you agreed to. That's what a contract is.
Yes.
And
I think that's what revenue sharing, the future of it, is going to bring. You're gonna have contracts. You're gonna have things that now will only probably be for 1 year. We'll see if we'll ever get to multi-year agreements, which you could.
Yeah.
I think, as far as we understand it, but that's one thing that this sporting world in college could really use.
There's still a little bit of it has to fit. So if you still had Will Riley, KJ, and Kylan, then this guard from Montana is not going to want to come to Illinois and play. Even if you paid him $1 million, he's probably going to be like, well, I don't know how much I'm going to play, so I'm probably going to go somewhere to where it's a better fit for me. So there is a little bit still of that. Like you still are kind of you're still, like, if you're the player, you're still kind of recruiting the college as well to figure out what your role is going to be. But it does almost seem like it's just like, well, I started $1 million, and maybe there's players that are like, if you pay me $1 million, I'll sit the bench. I don't care. But then they're going to hurt themselves for the next season.
Yeah, I think that there are teams that, especially the high end of the food chain, you can get guys to agree to, if you pay them enough and they're at a place that's going to compete for a national championship, some will sign up, especially for the big brand names, to play in the second unit versus, and it's been that way. And a lot of times I know that some people have voiced frustrations with the idea that Dame Sarr is going to consider Duke, and Duke has of course, again, a star-studded class, and like, wait, is there not a couple Will Rileys on Duke's team? Which I do think from a role standpoint, they don't necessarily have the same thing as Dame at Duke, despite having a bunch of studs signed up to go there. But pre-NIL, pre-transfer portal, like Duke and Kentucky and UNC just operated on a different set of rules. It's like, oh, well, one guy came back and now Illinois is out, where Kansas has 4 or 5 stars and a guy that could have went to the NBA came back, and you're still going to go to Kansas? Yeah, it's Kansas.
Right. It's weird. It really is weird. And if you're a guy like I was thinking, if you're like Benham Rickhouse and you are going to return for another season, and that's it for you, and really Ben's not playing at the next level, I am literally holding out for the highest bid. Like, I would be like, Illinois, it was a great fit, whatever, I guess. I mean, I don't know that he had the best time in his life. I mean, he went into a church and explained that he's like the most hated guy in America. So, I mean, with regards to that, but
kind of sad. Yeah.
But I know. But that aside, it's like, if that was my son, I'd be like, Ben, just literally take the highest offer and just go and play one more year and make as much money as you can, and then join the business world or do whatever. Because whereas somebody that's a sophomore needs to go somewhere where they know their role is going to continue to be one that they can expand and then cash in next year as well. So, yeah, I don't know.
I think there is a naturally frustrating part where we've calibrated our brains to expect what the market is.
Yeah.
And then in such a quick fashion, it's accelerated. And to sit there and say that player's not worth that much, and to know it.
Yeah.
And teams know it, and players probably even know it, although I don't know if they would maybe admit it, but based on what the market was last year or the year before, they weren't worth anywhere near that money. It's like when Timothy Mozgov, if you remember that name.
I do remember
in
that
the
name.
NBA, like I think it was pre some new collective bargaining, whatever it was, but or just higher cap. They heightened the cap, and Mozgov's getting like 4 years, $60 million to just be an average center. And then we've talked about before, like the rookie pay scale for those quarterbacks in the NFL got all out of whack and crazy until they had to put some constraints on that of how much it would increase in a given year. So that's where I think some of it, and I want to get Kyle's thoughts on this because it is Illinois specific. I feel like for the Illinois fan base, the Merez Johnson situation probably tips some scales for some people. I think people have.
I think you're right.
Have been, well, they were probably open-minded. The majority of people open-minded to players getting paid, open-minded to this new world, which I've spent. I don't have to go through it all before, but without the portal, you don't have Terrence Shannon Jr. Or Marcus Damask, or without NIL, Kofi doesn't come back for one more year, and on and on and on. But Merez Johnson, who's been committed for 3 years, is supposed to play 3 years at Illinois, right? And when that thing sours so quick, as it did, one season here, looked like him and Tommy had a good rapport, and Merez impacted you as a freshman, and we were just clamoring, for weeks when he got hurt, like, man, if Merez can just get back, this team can be different in March and do this and that and this and whatever. For it to be a few weeks in the offseason and I'm staying, no, I'm not. And by the way, this sucks about Illinois and this and this and the money, the idea that he, maybe agreed, signed, and this is a roundabout answer, but kind of estimated guess. Like, I think he signed on probably for $700K, and then he's like, "I'd like $800K, please.
Wow.
I'd like $900K, please." Illinois' like, "Yep, sure, okay." And then they come back and like, "Actually, we want $1 million."
Oh my!
And then it's like, okay, and oh, by the way, also we got some complaints to air out here. And then he ends up at Michigan for, I assume, at least 1.5. So
is he at Michigan? Is that?
Well, he's signed to Michigan.
Okay.
Who they, by the way, got Ade Mara, the 7'3" guy from UCLA. They've got Yaxel Lendenborg from South Florida, and he's going to go through the draft. Is it South Florida? It's UAB, right? UAB. Kyle,
I think so.
Yeah. AI.
So, anyways, what I'm getting to and what I want Kyle to comment on here in this first segment before we get out to the break is that I feel like Merez is one of those change how you feel about this type of situations. Am I wrong on that?
I think you're totally right about it. And Merez was like the first guy in a while that when it first happened, it was such a shock, and you didn't really understand it. There's been so many guys that have transferred out of Illinois in this era, and we've talked about it before. Like, how many of them do you sit there, or when it happened, or even in hindsight, you sat there and were distraught about it, or those guys went on to be huge contributors somewhere else. And so I think for Illinois fans, the net of this era has been so positive.
Great point.
To this point. And then Merez leaving was kind of the gut punch to where now you start to question how Illinois recovers from that, or just, I think, like you said, Merez was a guy that you expected. He'd be a guy you would at least expect to enter the portal of anybody. And now that he can enter and he can want these demands and he can think he's worth this, and that a guy that's been committed to your program from in-state for 3 years can in 2 seconds say, I'm done after one season. That's where you start to realize, like, okay, anything I've thought about the portal, I should probably get rid of, because nobody's safe at this point. Anybody can do whatever they want.
Yep. Well, listen, at high school baseball games, you got a lot of time to visit with people. And when this comes up, like with Merez specifically, but just the conversation in general, people are just fed up with it. People are like, that's ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. I don't even know if I want to. Now, I don't know if that – I'm sure – look, Illinois sells out every game, and obviously the boosters are stepping up with this kind of money. So it's not offending, I guess, the right people, or thankfully. And obviously, if somebody gets rid of 2 tickets for State Farm Center, 2 more people are right there ready to buy them, and that's a great problem to have. But you do wonder how much you're alienating just a certain sector of fans that just don't really want anything to do with it. And, baseball did that a few times. I know when they went on strike, which is what happens here, when somebody gets too much, or they think they're getting too much, or don't like what the other is doing, in professional sports, then you can just strike. And when that happened in baseball the last time, I remember my dad and my dad watched Cardinals games every night. I mean, when he could, for the most part. And he that day said, I'm done. I'll never watch another baseball game. And he didn't. Now, what impact does that have on baseball? Probably nothing. He didn't go to Busch Stadium anymore, so I guess that's a little bit of an impact. But other than that, did it really matter that my dad stopped watching baseball? But if enough of those people, especially in the younger generation, stop doing it, but here in like Andrew is 18, he's kind of being now brought up in this to where it's okay, right? He knows enough about it, but he didn't experience what I experienced with like Corey Bradford and that group going 4 years at Illinois. He doesn't know much to that, right? His idea of loyalty is, I don't care about it. I just want the best players. So whatever money can buy, bring them in, and we got a shot at a national title next year. And I guess that's the flip side of that. If you're one of the teams that can play in the big pool, like Illinois, you can swim in the big pool, then that should, in a way, increase your chances even more of winning a national title or being really good, because you have the ability to go out and spend what a lot of teams can't. So in that situation, we should be glad as Illinois fans that the Illini are a program that can spend money. And I guess, if you don't like this team, just wait for next year, because it'll be a brand new team. But then you're going to have that team that comes along where it's like, I really like this team. Well, sorry, buddy. We're losing 4 guys off this team. And it's not the Riley and the KJ going to the NBA. I think that's great. That is a natural that's brand new for Illinois. But I don't for 1 second think that they shouldn't have had Will Riley or KJ. Well, you're only going to have them for 1 year. I've heard people say that. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're also getting some of the best players in basketball, so you want them for that 1 year, even if you're getting them for 1 year. I think it's great that they're going to go on and hopefully be professional basketball players, but it's just the idea of that kind of that second tier guy that's not going to play in the NBA. And it's like, wow, I really like Jake Davis. Like, I really like Jake Davis. I love when he comes in and, he knows his role. He does it well. Brad puts him in certain spots. And if Jake Davis left, I'd be like, gosh, dang it. Like, I like that dude. But yet, if you're Jake Davis, why wouldn't you go to Belmont or somewhere and be a 14-point scorer for them? So I don't know. But although he kind of was at that school, not at Belmont, but Mercer, right? So he was at a school like that and then decided that he's kind of the guy you described, that it used to be, well, I want to play in the Big Ten. I want to make the NCAA tournament. I want the bright lights of a sold-out crowd every night. And I think for Jake, he really embodied that. But who knows? Next year he might say, all right, hold on, I'm going to be now a junior or a senior, and I'm going to go try to make what I can because Illinois is not going to be able to afford to pay me because they're paying some kid from Vermont $16 million because he averaged 14.8.
Well, if he's like the guy making a bunch of money, will make a bunch of money going forward out of Maine, Cooper Flagg.
Oh, boy.
Then I'd take the next Vermont, the Northeast, New England area. They got any more up there?
Have I even talked to you guys since the national championship?
No.
That's disgusting. That's pretty disgusting.
That's what Kyle and I were excited for today. We knew that Lon has a week's worth of things to say in one show to do it.
Like, I wish we faced Paul Skeens every time.
Yeah, right?
I mean, bring him on. Bring him on.
It's kind of like a best of Tay and Piper. Like, we're just going to take segments that Kyle and I did throughout the week and let Lon now say what he thinks.
Just throw a word out and let me go.
We should do that.
Okay.
That actually sounds like a fun thing to do.
I've got thoughts on that Final Four.
Okay.
I've got thoughts on that and thoughts on the Cardinals. Wow. And to finish this segment off, which is a long segment, you can tell I'm back. I never had really noticed it, but now I can hardly look at Kyle because he reminds me of John Shire. He's got a little bit of a John Shire look. And I'm like, when Shire was up there like whatever, and I'm like, oh, I don't like him. So now I've got to stare across the table at Kyle, who looks like John Shire, and I got to deal with that. So that's why I'm just staring at
with
you today.
With the blue hoodie on today, too. I think it really does kind of show
like
today.
He's definitely doing the Shire look today. Do you think? I mean, look, I think John Shire's a good-looking dude.
I don't think I've ever heard that before from anybody.
Because you're both tall and skinny, and yeah, I mean, there's just a look about you that is a John Shire look, and it's not bad. Like, he's a good-looking dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a cool guy to look like
for sure.
But it's like, but I don't like him because he's Duke's coach. So now I got to get over that, and that's going to be hard to do. I'm not going to lie to you going forward. I'm almost not going to need.
He didn't just hit you with like, you know who you look like, Fletcher Lawyer. Or
wow. Oh, don't even. Oh boy, don't even do that because Fletcher and him probably Kyle and Fletcher do kind of have some similarity. Oh no, I'm pulling up a picture of Fletcher Lawyer.
I think I'm done for the day. See you guys.
I wasn't saying that actually he could have went there. I actually was just thinking. In my mind, I was like punchable face in the Big Ten, Fletcher Lawyer, and then Lon's like, no, actually he does look like him. All right.
And isn't it funny in this crazy time, Purdue's going to get all their guys back?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're going to have Braden Smith back. They're going to have Fletcher Lawyer back.
Drake Kaufman-Renn.
He is back again.
Yeah.
And it's like, how does that
there was
happen?
rumors of Brooks Barnheiser going there too. If he could get approved for another year, although Brooks came out on Twitter today and said Northwestern's the only uniform I'll ever wear.
Okay.
Now some are like, yeah, because you're out of eligibility, buddy.
Yeah, that's big of you to say that. Is there a rule in there somewhere where if you lose your 4 front teeth, you get an extra year of? I mean, that poor kid. I'd hate to see his dental bill.
Lou Goody might be pulling them out in Bloomington as we speak.
in a bass boat somewhere.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
All right, due for a break. We got a lot of text to get to, which we will as we go along. 217-359-2255, Max Twin City Recycling text line. It's Friday, so we'll tip one at some point. We'll update you on the Masters as we go along. We'll have some fun the rest of the way. So look forward to doing that. Stick with us. It is The Drive.
We're back. We have Paul Rican from Dick Van Dyke Appliance World on the air. Paul, what makes buying an appliance at Dick Van Dyke so special?
Well, Chris, it all starts with our service department. We have an in-house service team that's second to none. And Chris, is that a dog in the back?
Max, keep it down. Have a snack, buddy. Go ahead, Paul.
With our in-house service team, we have our free 10-year protection plan included on most appliance purchases.
Paul, sorry. Let me close the window here.
Should we start over? Or?
Nope, we are on the air.
All right, so with our free protection plan, we also give you a lifetime discount on the service call even after the 10 years runs out.
Hey, cut it out for a second. Sorry, Paul, I have a basement remodel going on. Did you say a service call discount for the life of the appliance? Uninterrupted discounted service?
Uninterrupted discounted service.
For the life of the appliance. Uninterrupted, huh? I like that.
No interruptions. The kind of service that makes Dad say,
wow.
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Fighting Illini fans, your Illinois football team is coming off a 10-win season as Citrus Bowl champs. This fall, Illinois returns 18 starters from the Citrus Bowl victory, including star quarterback Luke Altmaier for a third straight season. Led by head coach Brett Bielema, the Fighting Illini are listed on nearly every major top 25 ranking for the 2025 season. Stay up to date on all things Fighting Illini football at fightingillini.com. We can't wait to see you back in Memorial Stadium this fall.
Drive in, drive out. Recycling's what Max is all about. You can make some cash and do your share. We make it really simple because we care. It doesn't matter large or small. Our friendly staff will handle it all. Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
It seems like the cost of everything is on the rise, but Erie Insurance can help make sure your auto insurance premium isn't one of them. Avoid rate increases with Erie Rate Lock. Even if you have a claim, your rates won't go up until you change your car, driver, or address.
Your Erie agent in Champaign is Thomas & Ellers Insurance.
Erie Rate Lock is not available in all states. Other conditions and limitations at erieinsurance.com. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Hi, Ellen Hook here, owner of your local Ashley. Spring is calling and your patio is ready for a refresh. At Ashley, we have the latest spring styles and trends in outdoor furniture. Spacious sectionals, cozy sofas, and more with multiple styles in stock and ready to take home today. Or let us deliver and set up for you. Built for style and durability, every piece features Nuvella Performance fabric, designed for easy cleaning and enhanced UV resistant to keep colors fresh, rain or shine. Shop now, relax later. Visit Ashley in Champaign today, located at 602 West Anthony Drive.
Two men in a junk truck is emptying their truck, and they have some great items. It's their first ever Second Chance Garage Sale. They rescue cool stuff from heading to the landfill, dusting it off, and offering it to you. Two men and a junk truck believes in second chances. That's why they're holding their Second Chance Garage Sale. Come find furniture, household goodies, and unique treasures ready for their second act. Come out to the Second Chance Garage Sale at 701 West Bradley Avenue from 8 a.m. until noon on April 12th.
I'm Justin Ike, co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground.
So, Justin, tell me what you see as typical when it comes to sewer repair. Give me a scenario.
Your sewer's backed up and somebody comes along and says, you need this repair for X amount of dollars. Here's my price. And you don't think to go looking for another company or a second opinion because you don't feel like you have time.
So is it possible that you might get charged a little more because it's kind of a desperate moment? Do some companies do that?
Oh, absolutely they will. They know you're in a pinch. Typically, if you call us, me or Will can be out there within an hour to look at that problem for you. Whether you call me first or you call me second, make sure you give me a call.
Anything else, Justin?
You can always trust Fred's.
Great to know. Thank you. That's Justin Ike, the co-owner of Fred's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Electric, and Underground. If you want more information about this great 45-year family-owned company, just go to fredscu.com. That's fredscu.com.
Back on the drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Father of the flamethrower,
Yeah.
Andrew Tay.
Proud of him. Touched 91 yesterday.
That's awesome.
That is funny. I put it on Facebook, and I was like, before you ask, I have no idea where he's getting this. And there's plenty of guys that do that. Pitching is one of those where it's like, that's great, you can throw like that, but do you have another pitch or two to go along with it? Can you throw strikes and hit? That's been his problem his whole career, but he dialed it in yesterday. So, yeah, because he got injured a little bit this year. So yesterday's the first time he's pitched. So he pitched against Effingham St. Anthony. They won 6-0, and he touched 91. So he was pretty excited, which he should be. I told him that after. I said, you should be. He is up right now over 200 pounds. And most of the basketball season, that's the other thing. He just keeps trying to gain weight, which wouldn't that be a great thing to just try to gain weight? I mean, I could eat this apple that I brought in and I'll gain 3 pounds. It's the proverbial. But once basketball ended, then he just went, and now he's at like 205, which I assume would make you stronger and be able to throw. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see him out there, and he's been hitting the ball a little bit this year, so I'm excited for him, excited for the rest of the season. I can't wait till yesterday was a pretty nice day.
Mm-hmm.
I have to admit, yesterday was pretty good. It rained a couple of times down in Effingham, but other than that, it was just sprinkling. So I can't wait until it's 75, 80 degrees out.
Man.
And then you can really lather that arm, right, and get it going. So
absolutely,
it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch him succeed a little bit because I just know the work he's put in. He puts in a lot of work. That kid he's had maybe one pop in the last 2 years. He doesn't eat candy. Now, you guys know me. I don't go an hour without a piece of candy. So, for him to really and he eats right, so I'm proud of him.
You're not offering him candy canes?
No. They're sitting there if he wants them. Actually, when he gets in the truck, I hide things now because I don't even want to to me, it's like at least I can do that much. Like, hey, Andrew, just so you know, I ate that entire Snickers before you got in here, just so you wouldn't be tempted. Hey, somebody had texted in on the Max Twin City Recycling phone line or text line, and said that my argument with the portal isn't holding water because in the NBA they can trade somebody. But that's the team's choice. Like if the team wants to trade, I mean, it's very rare that you get the example of like a John Elway, an Eli Manning, what was the one that James Harden, basically forced his way out of. Where was he? Houston? No.
Well, he's done it a couple times.
Well, I was going to say he's done it a couple
Philly,
times.
Houston.
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Philly, I couldn't wait to get rid of him in Philly. But, for the most part, though, you're getting something back in a trade.
Yep.
And like you had said during the break, and number two, if you're trading a guy, maybe there are certain trades where it's like, we don't want to lose this guy, but we can't stand the dynamic he has on this team, or he wants to be traded, so we might as well trade him. So at least there you're getting things back. Where in college you're just losing a guy.
Yeah, you see in the NFL somebody wants a new contract and they hold out, but then they get fined every time they hold out.
So there's there's things that come with it. So that's the only thing. I'm not arguing with you, but it's just there is a difference because A, you're getting value back, and B, you're the team that can say, no, we're not trading you. We own you, essentially, until your contract's out. So, but that is not the case in college. Somebody else asked they said, would this year be the last year of the big money? Because a lot of people assume with revenue sharing coming in that then all stops and only a certain amount is given to a team. In other words, like, here's your allowance. You can't overspend it. But that is the case, but yet there's still going to be the chance of NIL, right? I wanted you to comment on that.
Yeah, this is the double dip year, as they would say, is that you get the unregulated NIL, so a lot of the booster money that then turns into, as we know, essentially pay-for-play agreements that are high, and then you're adding in rev share money, which will be, I haven't heard, as the settlement has not gone into effect yet, we're still waiting to know what the splits are going to be at different places. I think for our men's basketball standpoint, Wouldn't be surprised if theirs is in the $4 to $5 million range. They had $4 million in NIL last year. So if we just said that stayed the same, you're talking about an $8 to $9 million pool of money to spend on your roster, which it could even be a tick higher than that. I know we had, I think it was Heath on the Max Twin City Recycling text line reference a tweet about, I think it was from Travis Branham, 24/7 Sports, who said there will be at least 8 teams in this upcoming season in college basketball that will have spent $10 million or more on their roster. And then I think Jeff Goodman quoted that and said, I think at least 15. And so we'll see ultimately how that goes. But to the point of the future of NIL, the intention is that once rev share gets approved, is that NIL will be true NIL, as in that it will be endorsement deals that are of market value.
Okay.
You won't have overpays. You won't have just kind of unapologetic funneling of money from booster to the player to play. I'm highly skeptical, as we've said many times, that you're going to be able to tell somebody, no, you're not worth that. Like if a car dealership says we want to do a commercial and give you $500,000, and you're like, no, that's not what people make. Like that's not how industry business works. It's not how that works. So why is it going to hold up as far as this goes? That's going to get sued. It's going to go to court, and I don't see how it holds. So I think that way it will still be a big avenue for big money. And even if it does hold up, which again I'm pretty skeptical on, then you just go back to the old system of boosters doing it under the table to try to create an advantage. So it's
crazy.
There's the thought of that being a way this goes, but I think it will not be this way again, at least in terms of the intention. It will not. They're going to try to change it. Rev share will be the primary driver. NIL will be more separate, but also just kind of more based on legit endorsement deals. But good luck making that happen.
Do you know? Yeah, I mean, like, what's going to stop Phil Knight and Oregon from saying, here, just stand in front of this camera and hold these Nikes, and we're going to give you $10 million to come here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's legit. You're advertising Nike. So
and who can tell somebody what they're worth to a certain person?
That's exactly right. Or Arkansas they'll just put a dude in front of a Walmart and be like, I shop at Walmart. Cut. Great job. Here's your $10 million check. Thanks for coming to Arkansas. So my question to you, I don't know that you know this, like with Illinois in particular and revenue sharing, is this Josh Whitman's job to figure out how much goes to each thing? Is there a panel? Yes. Okay, I didn't know. So
I think ultimately it's Josh's call on how to delegate the money across your athletic department.
Boy, that would be a pressurized decision on some fronts. Especially if you're a guy already that we know what football is going to do, right? They're going to have the most resources, and they should. They make the most money for your program.
Make the most money, have the biggest roster by a long shot.
But you wonder what kind of again, I'm just referencing Illinois here because that's who we deal with the majority of the time, but Josh Whitman played football. So you could see how someone would be like, well, of course he's going to give it all to football. He played football. Now, we know that Josh is not that kind of a guy. I mean, but yet he also understands what pays the bills, and that's football. So I don't know. I would not want the task that he would have then, Derek, of saying, here you go, Lon, here's $22 million. I need it divided amongst the 18 or whatever teams there are at Illinois. You make the call on that.
Yep. It's crazy. And I think that as of right now, what we know, it apparently now is $20.5 million.
Okay.
So rather than 22.
Got it.
Also, Title IX is not involved on the front end. So you can spend it however you want, not worry about balance in women's sports, men's sports. What's going to stop an SEC program for being like $20.5 million? Sounds great. Coach DeBoer at Alabama, here's $20.5 million.
Yep.
Could happen.
No doubt.
Could happen.
Well, and then you have schools like, for instance, where did he go? The schools that don't have a football program.
Yeah.
There's an example.
East.
Like the Big East, yeah. To where you could just, those basketball programs should get better in a hurry.
Yes.
Theoretically.
One side of it, now they can, if they have the money then to
Well, yeah, they
funnel
may
in,
not have
but
that
football
kind of money.
is a big money driver. So it might
That's a good point.
check itself in that way.
Great point.
But basketball will be prioritized at St. John's, who doesn't have football then to fund and worry about. I shared this on our board this week, and I had heard this. I don't know it to be 100% accurate, so take it with a grain of salt. But as far as the figures go, I had heard from somebody that hears things within the athletic department is that a thought for Illinois right now of the $20.5 million, $14 to $15 million for football.
Wow.
$4 to $5 million for basketball. $1.5 million for the rest.
Man, that's not a lot of money to be divvied up between softball, baseball.
It's not
wrestling.
You still have
golf.
Right. You still have obviously the scholarship angle. You still have NIL that, those athletes, if they wanted and were, from a booster base, from a local businesses side of things, could make money that way too. And I understand it. Like, if you give too much money to programs that don't make you money, number one, that doesn't make much sense.
Not at all.
Number two, you're leaving yourself behind in the sports where it matters most. And that's just the facts.
Yep.
So I think it does sound like Illinois wants to give men's basketball an upper hand, just I think relative to other Power 5 places that have football, they want to give basketball a little bit more than what the standard will be, which I think 4 to 5 would be. But then you got to make Brett Bielema happy, and he deserves it coming off 10 wins.
He does.
You want to keep growing that thing. So it is, like you said, at the front end, it's a very tough job for Josh Whitman to figure out.
I want to keep going on this, and I want Kyle's thoughts next hour, because I want to ask you, and don't answer this now, like we'll tease it for next hour, but like you just said, there could be 15 teams that approach $10 million for their roster in basketball. Now, theoretically, that will shrink when you're then giving the majority to football, but might there be a Kentucky, let's say, that says, well, look, our football program has gotten better, but they've never really been that big of a deal on our campus. So guess what? You're still going to get $10 million for football, but we're going to give our basketball team $10 million. Well, then all of a sudden you might have 2 or 3 programs that are like North Carolina may be like, look, well, although they got Belichick, how about Duke? Like, for instance, they have a pretty good football program now, but can you just see them saying, okay, really? Like, we really aren't that big of football fans compared to basketball, so we're going to give you $5 million football, and we're going to give the basketball team and Kyle, John Shire, 15.5. And then imagine the difference you would have. It would almost be like Duke having all these great players and losing in the Final Four. Oh, did that happen? That did happen.
Yes.
That was so satisfying.
Some great games.
Those 2 games were incredible. We sat and watched them at Ballpark Village, and it's so easy for me to have this disdain for Duke. And so when Houston started rallying, and I remember they were down 6, and I looked at both my boys, and I'm like, this is it. This is their last run. They've got to make hay right now. And they did. And I'm not saying that as I'm some smart guy, but it was just like, if they're going to get back in this, they got to get back in it. And then they got back in it, and then they won it. And it was 80% of Ballpark Village, which was pretty full, was rooting for Houston. That's how the world thinks of Duke.
That sounds fun.
The only people rooting for Duke were those that had money on Duke, I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
And even if you had money on Duke, like me in my brackets and such, I gladly took the loss. I'll take the L for that $10 bracket.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, we don't actually pay for that because that's law. Right.
Because that makes sense why that would be
if
it
Monopoly.
happened illegal.
Right.
But that's why it doesn't. All right, 217-359-2255, Max Twin City Recycling text line. Hit us up. We'll get you the Masters leaderboard when we return, talk some more hoops and some baseball. It is The Drive.
Race fans, the World of Outlaws late model superstars are racing to Farmer City. Friday and Saturday, April 11th and 12th. It's the storied Illini 100 featuring the most powerful dirt late models on the planet. Plus the rising stars of the Extreme Outlaw Midget Series, also tackling the Farmer City Bull Ring. Get $5 off each ticket with the code FARMER when you purchase in advance at worldofoutlaws.com. That's the code FARMER for $5 off in advance. World of Outlaws at Farmer City Raceway, April 11th and 12th. Buy online or call 844-DIRT-TICKS.
Fighting Illini fans, your Illinois football team is coming off a 10-win season as Citrus Bowl champs. This fall, Illinois returns 18 starters from the Citrus Bowl victory, including star quarterback Luke Altmaier for a third straight season. Led by head coach Brett Bielema, the Fighting Illini are listed on nearly every major top 25 ranking for the 2025 season. Stay up to date on all things Fighting Illini football at fightingillini.com. We can't wait to see you back in Memorial Stadium this fall.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
And disruptive protests. The government submitted a statement for the Secretary of State contending Khalil's presence in the U.S. poses potentially serious foreign policy consequences. The judge deciding there was clear and convincing evidence.
She cited those DHS papers and said that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, was able to meet that burden. And again, they have decided that Mahmoud Khalil is removable.
Fox's Brooke Taylor outside the courthouse in Jena, Louisiana. Khalil's attorneys say he's being targeted for pro-Palestinian free speech, and they'll continue the court fight. President Trump spending several hours at Walter Reed Medical Center today for his annual physical.
The White House says that they will release a summary of the president's health, and they'll do that as soon as possible. This is President Trump's first physical since returning to the White House in his second term. He and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt maintain Trump is in excellent health.
This president is clearly committed to transparency. You in this room see him and hear from him on a daily basis.
Leavitt also criticized the previous administration for what she called the lack of transparency from the Biden administration on the health and competence of the former president.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House. The president's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, face-to-face with Russia's President Vladimir Putin, traveling to St. Petersburg for that meeting, described as productive talks by one Russian official as the U.S. keeps pushing for a settlement to end the war in Ukraine. As U.S. officials hold trade talks with multiple countries, stocks finished the week on a high note. The Dow up 619 points today, and with the biggest weekly gain since November of 2023. America is listening to Fox News.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
A convicted killer mistakenly released in Georgia is captured in Florida.
Kathan Guzman was sentenced to life in prison for strangling his girlfriend in 2022. But staffers at the Clayton County Jail south of Atlanta made what officials call a paperwork error, and they let him go March 27th. His victim's family lives in Florida, and they were terrified he may be coming for them. Her mother said she hasn't been able to sleep since she heard the news that Guzman was free. But now some relief for them after U.S. Marshals say they tracked Guzman down to his mother's home, also in Florida, and took him into custody. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Changing clocks twice a year could end with a renewed push in Congress to keep either standard time or daylight saving time year-round.
To Massachusetts Democrat Ed Markey, it's about maximizing sunlight, which he says has other benefits.
When the sun's out, it just increases the likelihood that the corners of people's mouths are going to be turned upwards.
they're going to be happier when the sun's out.
The Senate approved a bill 3 years ago to park the U.S. on daylight saving time year-round, but the bill never got through the House. President Trump wants the House and Senate to, quote, push hard for more daylight. He calls changing the clocks a, quote, big inconvenience. The Constitution gives lawmakers control of weights and measures, and that includes managing time.
Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. Currently, only Hawaii and most of Arizona don't observe daylight saving time, keeping standard time all year. England's Justin Rose finishes day 2 of the Masters, still topping the leaderboard, but only 1 stroke ahead of American Bryson DeChambeau. 3 players are tied for third, including Rory McIlroy. Defending champ Scottie Scheffler, one of 4 players tied for fourth. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois. Champaign vicinity. Quiet weather picture the next 5 to 10 days. No long-term warming, but no major widespread wet weather outbreaks anticipated. May see that they'll begin to evolve at some point next weekend towards the Easter holiday weekend, and another cool day or 2 in sight down the line for the next 5 to 7 days. 55 today, about 8 shy of normal, partly to mostly sunny as the day wears on. Northeast to east breeze will be fresh out there tonight. Mostly clear, cold air. Frost advisory. Late night readings down at 28 to 32, even some brief light freezing too for the day tomorrow. A cold start to the day, sunshine, a bit milder for the afternoon, light wind and 60, down to 39 tomorrow night, 67 with a partly cloudy, breezy, milder Sunday, up near 70 on Monday with a shower chance early in the day. Back to some chillier weather with upper 50s to near 60 Tuesday and Wednesday, 60s next Thursday. Another cool off slated for Good Friday and the Easter holiday weekend. For STPJ Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
It is the Drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. We got a tip one this hour because it is a Friday. Look forward to doing that. The Masters ongoing. Let's get you the leaderboard. How about that? To start off this last hour of the week, Justin Rose remains in first place. He was the first round leader at -7. He's -8. He was 1 under today. He's finished up at a 71.
The
Bryson
wily veteran.
Yeah, man. I'd seen they had a stat. Since 2005, he's among the top 4 or 5 golfers in terms of top 10s at the Masters.
Is
Tiger
that right?
was first.
Wow.
Forget who was second. I think Rose was third.
Okay.
It's been around for a while.
The guy that just took over the Ryder Cup.
Is that right?
Yeah, he did.
Bryson DeChambeau in second. Kyle and I got a rooting interest there. He went 4 under today. Good day for Bryson. He's -7. Speaking of good days, Rory.
Yeah.
Even par yesterday. And then just rips off a -6 today. He's tied for third with Corey Connors and Tyrrell Hatton. So good day for Rory to be from wondering is he going to need a decent day just to make the cut?
Right.
To now he's firmly in the mix up there at the top of the board. A couple other notables. Shane Lowry -5. Jason Day -5.
Wow, Jason Day's having a good year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of a comeback guy.
Last year or so, he's made some noise.
He really has.
Victor Hovland.
Yeah, your guy. He's no longer your guy.
Yeah, well, you know.
He's always going to kind of be your guy.
We've got an off and on relationship, and we're currently on, so I bet on him this weekend. Decent day, -3 to push him up to -4. Scotty was -6 at one point during this round. He's through 11, so he's still working. But then dropped a couple strokes. He's even for the day. He's -4.
He'll be there.
And, he'll.
You do not want to have DeChambeau at 9 under and Scotty at 7 come final day of the Masters.
Oh, yeah.
You just know, like, Scheffler does nothing wrong on Sundays. He pars, like his bad holes are par, and he'll just throw a birdie in.
Once he gets on the course, at least.
Well, right.
Maybe driving too.
That's still so weird. Is
that the U.S. Open or I can't remember which one. Or was the PGA?
I think it's the PGA. It's the PGA down in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Valhalla, I think, is where it was. Yeah, that was
That's surreal.
Everybody, like, did you? Well, I know you haven't watched Full Swing. You haven't watched the first one, I doubt. Let alone
I haven't
the third
watched
one.
anything. Let's be honest.
But all the players were like checking their phone in the morning, and they were like, "This is like an April Fool's joke." Like Scotty Scheffler's been arrested. Like what? I remember when I first heard that, I was like, "Did he have drugs in the car or something?"
Yeah,
like
right?
what? Like what are we going to hear about Scotty Scheffler that's going to just blow my mind? By the way, has anybody made? How about Fred Couples? Okay, that wasn't where I was going, but you got to love Fred just using the yellow ball.
I just noticed that.
Oh, yeah, he always used the yellow ball.
Huh?
Yeah. Fred Couples, man. Can you Google, Kyle, how much he had to pay his ex-wife in alimony?
Oh, boy.
I'm being dead serious. Just wait till you hear this.
It was bad?
Oh. Those out there that have had to do that, just wait. Like, you're going to be like, oh, okay, well, I didn't get off that bad, I guess. But has anybody changed their look and persona more than Phil Mickelson? Like, now he's like the hat down, sunglasses wearing.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's trying to be like he's trying to fit in with the kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, so you're not really, it's just really not. Hey, Dad, the guys and I just want to play now. Can you go back inside? It's like when you're on a travel baseball trip and all the kids are out in the pool playing and all the adults are drinking beer and I'm torn. I'm like, I kind of want to go to the pool and hang with the kids, because they're throwing the football around or whatever. But then if I do that, Andrew's going to be like, yeah, what are you doing here? It's like, okay, I'll go drink. Of course, I'd be drinking in the pool while I'm throwing the football. I mean,
That's living the life right there.
It's not like I was choosing one over the other. But yeah, Phil Mickelson just almost looks strange.
I could see that. Yeah.
Did you find anything?
I initially saw $52,000 a month, and then it looks like it became $3 million lump sum payment plus their house.
Oh, plus the house, which is probably about a $5 million house. $52,000 a month.
Wow.
What does that come up to a year? I'm not good at math. 500. What is that?
$52,000 a month. That would be what? $600,000 a year.
$624,000 a year.
So I'd rather do that than the $3 million. Although
that's a lump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a lump. Okay. All right. Yeah. He probably did that for like 4 straight months and was like, okay,
let's just do the
I'm not doing this anymore. Can you imagine he has to order checks? Of course, back then, checks were a thing. Can you imagine, like, Fred Couples is writing a $52,000 check every month? Like, oh, I got to get that mailed to her. $52,000 a month.
Sounds rough.
Okay, how about this? $3 million, I get the house. Do I get the dog? You can have the dog. All right, then good. Deal. $3 million. Wow. Okay, anyway, I just remember hearing about that one time, and I knew it was just astronomical. But, of course, he made a lot of money. So,
for sure.
I
for
guess
sure.
that.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Was Morikawa the only one you put money on?
Yes. I just we had so many games this week that I mean there's no excuse. But like when it's kind of chilly out and windy and then I get home, I go right to bed. I either shower so I can warm up and go right to bed or I just go right to bed. And so it was like I just kept delaying making my bets and finally I'm like I'm just going to go all in on Morikawa and just call it a day. Well, obviously that isn't working out.
I don't blame you.
That isn't working out. Can you imagine, like, of all tournaments that you don't need a leaderboard that has DeChambeau, McIlroy, Scheffler, like anybody's going to watch that, right? But everybody watches the Masters, so it's not like CBS needs any more of a can they start the coverage on this earlier? I know it's a complaint every year.
Yeah.
People are like, well, you can go on Masters.com.
Yeah, you can go on Masters.com. I have ESPN Plus, so I guess when I see that it's on there, I'm like, hey, this is part of the reason that I pay for ESPN
yeah, that's
Plus.
True.
But then also it's free on Masters.com, so I'm like, oh, okay.
I know,
but
still.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It just, yeah. Because right, it doesn't. But it's like that every year.
It is.
Where you don't start seeing, if you don't, I don't know. Now it just makes me sound old. you don't get a chance to watch the Masters until 3 o'clock on Thursday. That might be one of the more maddening things in life. I mean, that is one of the top 5 events every year you look forward to. Most of us that love golf and stuff, or just that love sports. I don't even care if you're that big of a golfer. Like, I'm not that big of a golfer anymore, but I love the Masters. So then it's like, oh, Masters is here. And I can start watching at 3 o'clock. So it's like, well, hell, I got to wait the entire day to watch highlights, and there's no way you're not going to find out before you get on there. But again, I could easily get ESPN Plus, or I could stream it.
Yeah. We are fortunate. There are so many options to watch versus
there's no doubt.
Not terribly long ago.
Yep.
Like, we'll be telling war stories, or I'll be to your grandkids, to my kids. Like, yeah, there were the days where you didn't get to pick which NCAA tournament game you watched.
Right.
There was only one at a time on CBS, and if the other game was awesome, that's too bad.
Yep.
Unless you're pleading, Greg Gumbel, please butt into this game. And be like, we're going to take you over to Atlanta because this game sucks.
Kyle doesn't remember those days.
No.
Nope.
Like, it'd be like a 17-point, Kentucky's up 17, and you're like, all of a sudden they would go to a screen with 2 pictures, and it's like, well, the Wildcats seem to be getting it done in Provo, how do you say it? Provo, Utah. Yeah. We're going to take you out east where we have a battle brewing between, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's so funny you brought that up.
I still have a vague memory one year when Illinois lost to Florida in the NCAA tournament. I think it was the Florida team that played against
Mike Miller.
Yeah, Mike Miller ended up playing against Michigan State in the championship game.
Yes.
That was a 93-76 win for Florida. And I remember in my mind that you're in the Illinois market.
Sure.
So when they turn off your game for a different game, that's kind of like, oh, this is bad. Like, we didn't even get to watch the full thing. Like, they're like, all right, we're going to cut away now to, like,
ooh. And I always thought if you were in that market, you had the right to keep it, but maybe not. Like, for instance, where WCIA would say, we're overriding the national, we're keeping Illinois on, but I don't think that was the case back then. Yeah,
that's
funny.
For some reason, that's ingrained in my. I would have been 9 years old at the time, but I have that in my mind.
Probably your dad yelling at the TV saying, "Why are?" Not that I'm assuming your dad yelled at the TV.
I mean, surely he did. Although I told you this, I think it was on the air that the Washington loss, D and James is finally. My grandma was like, "I can't watch the game with you," because I was going to.
Oh, that's right.
Emotional and like, this is not what happens at Illinois. We don't lose in the second round.
I love the stories of things. Thanks, Randy. Couple's wife died a couple years ago. I'm sorry. So I love the stories. Like, I've always said the one about the game against Loyola, Chicago. I finally could not stand watching it. And so I jumped in my truck and drove around Philo, essentially in the country, listening to Brian Barnhart with the idea that he would get me the victory. Like, I've told Brian this before. I'm like, I put a lot of faith in you that day. You and you didn't come through for me. But it was just like I couldn't stand watching zero adjustments. I don't want to get into all that. And then the big Kruckweiser dude or whatever just making some move on Kofi and going in for a layup. Or hitting like this 12-footer. And I'm just like, okay, I can't watch this. I can't do it. I'd rather hear Brian tell me that they scored again. And then didn't they have that cocky white guard?
Yeah, who was that? Who was that guard?
Who reminded me of Porter Moser or whatever. I mean, he looked like the perfect guy for that guy to coach. But anyway, yeah, and it was just like, I can't watch this anymore. It's funny how we all have like probably little things that we do. Like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. Scott, I do remember when ESPN had some of the first weekend games.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And there was a long time, what was it? Probably the early 2000s where like Fox Sports Midwest, which then became Bally's, which then became FanDuel. It wasn't in this network.
No.
Like, you couldn't watch every Cardinals game.
Right.
You'd hope they were on Sunday Night Baseball or whatever it might be.
And if you want to get real bad, you go back to my days where the only time you got to see the Cardinals was either A, against the Cubs on GN, be against the Braves on TBS, or if they happen to get picked for the Saturday, like whatever, the national game of the week on Saturday.
Yep.
That was it. That was the only time you got to see him. And you'd flip on like TBS and this is Skip Carey, or I always remember Skip, and yeah, it was just like, oh my gosh, I get to watch and you got so excited to watch the Cardinals. And then I always thought to myself, why, and there are a crap load of Cubs fans, don't get me wrong, but this whole country should be Cubs and Braves fans, because they were the only ones that really ever got their games televised back then. So, man, you talk about being ahead of the game.
It's true.
GN and TBS. So, yeah.
Brainwashing people.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just kidding.
Zalatoris 8 over. Did you see one dude
Rough
shot
day
a
for him.
90?
Is that right?
Yeah, on the first day, he shot a 90.
If I shot a 90 there, I'd be like, that's what a day.
Oh, I always love the tweets leading up to the Masters where it's like, could you win the Masters if you started every hole on the green? And it's like, well, yeah. And then you probably 6-putt every green. I mean, they're faster than the stint meter at those things, Or I remember one
the slopes on them too.
The slopes, yeah. I remember the one argument was if you started from 150 out, could you win the Masters? And I'm like, no, you're not even close. I mean, those guys' second shot is from 150, so you're only gaining a shot a hole, which is 18 shots, I guess, a round.
Right.
But if I went and played in my prime at Augusta, I'm still probably shooting 160.
We were trying to figure this out. We needed you yesterday on this.
Yeah.
Where we said, now you might have
way overshot it.
In your prime, you might have been an above average golfer. And average, as we said, is relative to everybody. I asked the question for not an amateur or whatever, somebody that amateur in a positive way that plays regularly, but and just your average everyday golfer, what would they shoot at Augusta?
I think if you were really good, like if you were winning like the U of I, the UI Open and stuff like that, I think
not that. But
I think
I'd be curious.
They could probably shoot 90s.
Okay,
I'm thinking, or right in the hundreds. I don't think they're shooting anywhere close to par, right?
You would know better than I would.
Not if Zalatoris is out there at 8 over.
Right.
I mean, but I think me personally, which when I was golfing all the time, I still was errant with so many shots, so it would just absolutely kill me. Like I'd be behind every tree, and so I'm guessing I'd be 150.
Okay,
at least.
Kyle,
now
can you and I crack 200 or under 200?
I think we need to up our.
You know what I need though? I need the gallery there to stop my slice. I mean, that is an advantage when you just hit some dude. And like, you see the guy get smoked. Oh, this guy was like not even looking, and he got hit on the back of the head. It knocked him out. Him out cold. So, if you got a guy over there just like you hit and it stops your ball. Can you imagine playing in front of a gallery as bad as we are?
Unbelievable. I don't know if you saw this, but there's one. I wish I remember what hole it was. But the tee box is elevated, and then there's a slope down, and there was a seating area on the slope.
Oh, my
So just expecting that everyone's, obviously, these are best of the best golfers in the world, they're going to hit it in the air to the green. If somebody just duffed one or hit a hot ground ball, someone's getting smoked. That's going to hurt, but they don't have to worry about it there. But if somebody like me shows up, that is just really not a good place to sit.
Were you on the third level bay at Top Golf in St. Louis on Sunday? We
could have been me.
We did Top Golf, and we're on the second level, and we're on the very far bay to the right if you're looking out at the thing. And we get there, and I pull a club out, just to kind of just get warm, and I walk up to the turf where you normally would hit, and a ball from above came went ding, ding, ding. I'm like, you need that back? How do you even do that?
Right.
I mean, I'm just like, whoa. Richard said, do I remember when the Indy 500 was tape delayed? I don't. I wasn't a big Indy 500 guy until later in life, so I don't remember that, Richard. Scott, Lon, we remember when TVs had 13 channels and no remote.
Wow.
You had to get up and turn it.
Is it true that like even in the 80s, which for the NBA was between the Lakers and the Celtics, some of those like finals games were tape delayed on the early side? Isn't that what I had heard or read?
Is that crazy?
That's hard to imagine.
I mean, remember the gold medal, or I'm not, gosh dang it wasn't the gold medal game when the U.S. beat Russia in the Olympics, but that was tape delayed.
The Al Michaels call?
Yeah, the Al Michaels call. I mean, it's like, what? That is funny, because we lived in the country, so we had to put a pole up to put, like, whatever on it, and then we had the little contraption where you had to, like, move the satellite, so it's like this little box, and if you were wanting to get, I don't know, say Decatur, let's say you wanted to get WAND, you had to move the satellite to face west, so you would click this thing, it'd be like, and then you'd wait, and your TV screen would just be like fuzzy, and it would then slowly start coming in, and you're like, yeah, we got it.
Wow.
It was.
Remember those days, Kyle?
Yeah, vividly.
Now imagine the same kind, what am I trying to say, of advancement between your age now and my age. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean you just look at your watch and you can watch, well, you probably do that now. You probably watch the Arizona Cardinal game on your watch now.
There probably is an Apple Watch that could do that.
Probably.
Right?
I mean,
what will be
the advancement from me having to rotate, like literally click this thing and move my satellite over to where I could get WAND, let's say, to what we have now where there's 17 streaming services. There's one called Philo even. And I'm like, is that just for Philo people? I thought maybe we were kind of important. But can you imagine, though, the advancement they've made from then to now that same advancement from when Kyle's 21 to my age of 54, like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
I've always thought that they're going to have it to where you can, like, actually play in an NFL game. Like, they don't know you're playing, but, like, it'll be so advanced that you'll have just, like, the screen that you're in your basement, and you can line up as the linebacker. And like, try to, I don't know, I think that'd be cool. Of course, they have that now with those.
The VR.
Yeah, the VR thing.
Virtual
so they already
reality,
have that, Lon.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't. A rotor, Lon. Yeah, I think that's right. It turned your antenna. 217. Kids now don't even have the patience to wait for one 30-second Paramount Plus commercial. They lose their minds. The one thing I don't like about Peacock is that the fast forward, like, so on DirecTV, they've got the 30-second button. Whoever invented that, brilliant.
Yes.
So on Peacock, like, sometimes if I'm just watching a game, but I just don't want to, when there's a dead ball, like ball goes out of bounds and you got like 20 seconds of just delay, and on DirecTV, I can just hit that 30-second and we're there. Peacock, I hit it, and then I'm 3 minutes ahead in the game. And I'm like, gosh dang it, I did not mean to go that far. And then there's no reference point as to where I was.
Yeah.
So then I start rewinding, and now all of a sudden it's 10-9. And when I left the game, it was 22-20. And I'm like, no. So now I got to catch back up to the 22-20.
Yeah.
And when I finally land on it, it's 34-31. And I'm just like, So I just shut it off. I'm like, this game is not worth it. It's not.
Where was I at on this line? There's nothing. There's no point of like where certain things are. There's no time on it. Just a line.
It's so true. It's so frustrating.
I know what you mean.
I think they should pick me and just do a, what do you call those TV shows that it's like a reality TV show on Lon getting older, and just focus on my sports watching and just how frustrated I get. I mean, it is, because, I'd come home from a basketball game that Andrew played. I'd get home at 10 o'clock, and I'd want to kind of zip through the Illinois game that was on Peacock, and I can't. So it took longer to watch the game than I think. It's like I was watching it live, because I'm like, I can't go anywhere. I'm not even touching that button. It's like, hey, it's It'd be like 64-61 with 8 to play, and there's a timeout. So then I'd hit the button, and the next thing I know, there's 10 seconds left in the game. And I'm just like, I barely hit the button. It's tough, man.
Yeah. All right. Due for a break. 217-359-2255. You want to weigh in?
I've got a funny HBO story for you guys off the air.
Okay. Look forward to that.
It's probably not good. It'd be hilarious to say it on the air, but I'm not going to do that. I want to keep my job once a week.
Yeah. Randy did say he remembers watching HBO quiet so his mom didn't know it was on in his room. Which
on his black and white TV.
Crazy. Crazy to think. All right. Before we do get to this break, though, we'll let Lon, because he's back.
I am back.
Do the honors of doing some work.
Let me tell you, Busey's been missing me. This week is America Saves Week. Well, I've blown that. It's a widely recognized national campaign where thousands of organizations join together to collectively encourage their communities to focus on their individual financial wellness. And Busey gives you some tips. How about save automatically? The easiest way to save automatically. Doesn't matter how much or what you're saving. Just automatically put some of your paycheck into your savings account. Save for the unexpected. The past year has taught us that have to be prepared as possible for the unexpected. While we do have future savings goals, having an emergency fund to support present unaccounted for needs like a car breakdown, a dental bill, even a last-minute fun treat should be a top priority. You should always save for retirement, and you can save by reducing debt. The more debt you pay off, then that is saving for down the road. Invest in your financial future. Visit Busey.com to get started or stop by one of their convenient locations today for solutions to your personal business and wealth management need. They have over 37,000 ATMs nationwide. That's crazy is what it is. Busey, member FDIC.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circus Sports Illinois. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circus Sports has it all. Circus Sports Illinois isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, tight money splits, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circus Sports has you covered. Download the Circus Sports Illinois app or visit circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At F&B Wealth Management, it's not just about numbers, it's about people and communities. Hi, I'm Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank and F&B Wealth Management. Our team is united by a shared passion for helping you achieve your financial goals. We are equipped and eager to work together to craft personalized financial solutions just for you, including retirement planning, risk management through life insurance, long-term care insurance planning, and investment advisory services. Together, we will celebrate milestones, navigate life's transitions, and build a financial future that reflects your values. Experience the difference of a team that truly cares. Visit investwithfnb.com to learn more about dedicated advisors and start your journey toward a financial confidence today.
F&B Wealth Management is a division of Fisher National Bank. F&B securities are not insured by the FDIC, not a deposit or other obligation of or guaranteed by the depository institution. Subject to investment risks, including possible loss of the principal amount invested. Securities, insurance, and investment advisory services are offered through Midwestern Securities Trading Company, LLC, MSTC. Member FINRA, SIPC. MSTC and F&B are not affiliated.
F&B Wealth Management, supporting exceptional communities full of exceptional people.
Your lawn is an important investment. Let Spring Green take care of that lawn. Your local, family-owned and operated Spring Green has been committed to beautifying your neighborhood through quality, service, and professionalism. Spring Green's full program customers are backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Smart Money Magazine reports that consumers value a home with a well-maintained lawn and landscape up to 11.3% higher than the base price. Why don't you call Spring Green today, 359-2111, or visit them at spring-green.com.
Actually, I called the provider. It was just going to be a while before I could have service, and I couldn't wait, so I was recommended to Classic. Professionalism, their dependability, credibility, and the service technicians. I wouldn't ever call anybody else.
I truly believe that after people have experienced other companies and then given us a try, they can clearly see the difference.
Visit ClassicPlum.com.
We're back. We have Paul Rican from Dick Van Dyke Appliance World on the air. Paul, what makes buying an appliance at Dick Van Dyke so special?
Well, Chris, it all starts with our service department. We have an in-house service team that's second to none. And Chris, is that a dog in the background?
Max, keep it down. Have a snack, buddy. Go ahead, Paul.
With our in-house service team, we have our free 10-year protection plan included on most appliance purchases.
Paul, sorry. Let me close the window here.
Should we start over? Or?
Nope, we are on the air.
All right, so with our free protection plan, we also give you a lifetime discount on the service call even after the 10 years runs out.
Hey, cut it out for a second. Sorry, Paul, I have a basement remodel going on. Did you say a service call discount for the life of the appliance? Uninterrupted discounted service?
Uninterrupted discounted service.
For the life of the appliance. Uninterrupted, huh? I like that.
No interruptions. The kind of service that makes Dad say,
wow.
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Two Men and a Junk Truck is emptying their truck, and they have some great items. It's their first ever Second Chance Garage Sale. They rescue cool stuff from heading to the landfill, dusting it off, and offering it to you. Two Men and a Junk Truck believes in second chances. That's why they're holding their Second Chance Garage Sale. Come find furniture, household goodies, and unique treasures ready for their second act. Come out to the Second Chance Garage Sale at 701 West Bradley Avenue from 8 a.m. until noon on April 12th.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
It's time to plan your summer swimming season. Urbana Park District is selling pool memberships to Crystal Lake Park Family Aquatic Center. Memberships are on sale through April. The pool opens Memorial Day weekend. Single, family, senior, and veteran rates available. Purchase memberships in person at Phillips Recreation Center, 505 West Stoughton, or at Urbana Indoor Aquatic Center. Call 217-367-1544 for details. Urbana Park District, you belong here.
Back in the Drive with Dan Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Start thinking about things to toast because we got to do that. Here on a Friday, we'll get that done in the last segment. But before we get there, want to play a little rapid fire with Lon?
Let's
catch up on things.
I do want to get Lance. You're not right. The show did not have squiggly lines that I was trying to. I know what you're talking about. And
I would say we've all been there. Not all of us, but a lot of us have been there.
And then Austin said, "How much money did you burn not rewinding VHS tape rentals?"
Crazy.
You had to pay like $1, didn't you? If you didn't rewind
right.
it. That's so funny.
Man, I remember, especially with my dad going to Blockbuster on Friday nights, and that just used to be like the biggest thing.
Yes. You'd get so excited, like there was like whatever the big movie was, they'd have like 15 of them there, and you hoped to get one of them. Yeah, and then they had candy that was probably like the Milk Duds were probably like, back then like $4. Now it would be like $12.
Yeah.
But you had to have them because you were buying them at Blockbuster.
Of course.
Well, I remember like growing up in Camargo, like we didn't have Blockbuster. We didn't have any of that. So I'm like, must be nice to live somewhere where you have a Blockbuster. And then video rental stores came out, and they had this one room in the back. I was like, what's back there? Lon, you stay up here and focus right here.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you. Yeah, let's heat it up.
Let's start Cardinals.
Okay. Oh.
Speaking of heating it up. Not their play, but your opinions.
I stopped watching the Cardinals after the first game of the doubleheader against the Red Sox at Topgolf.
Well, that's great that you didn't watch the second game.
No, I didn't even turn it on. We were driving home from St. Louis, luckily, and because we had to drop Lucas off at the airport. So I get a text, and they're like, boy, Miles is really heating it up tonight or something. I was like, I don't even want to know. I don't care. But that game, we were at Topgolf, and I was having such a fun day with both boys. We're golfing. A couple buddies were there, right? And so I'm having a drink. Everything, literally, it was just a perfect day because the night before we had watched the Final Four games, which were fantastic. Lucas and I stayed up till like 1:30 in the morning just visiting in the hotel room, drinking a beer. So it was a perfect weekend. And then Ryan Helsley comes in and walks 4 guys. And it's hard to, like, you can't get rid of, or you can't get mad at him. He's been so good, but it's the old theory of they just figure out a different way each time to lose a game. Like Pop Warner. Was that 2 days ago? Pop decides to send Ciani to the plate.
That was so bad.
And he's thrown out by 7 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, awful. So today Pop Warner is your bingo card on how the Cardinals are going to lose a game. You know, it's just, it's so frustrating. So when that happened with Helsley, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not watching another game. And I haven't. Now it's only been, a week? But I just have.
You haven't missed much.
I have zero interest.
The Skeens win.
Yeah, right. And then I heard that we beat Paul Skeens, and I'm just like, why do we? That's 3 out of 4 times.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. 0 sense. And the way they were, I did see highlights of that. We were smoking the ball.
Victor Scott with the triple.
Yeah.
That was a big hit.
Seems like a fun kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
had
a good start to the year.
The Cardinals are just frustrating. Miles Michaelis, what are we doing? What are we doing? He is so bad. He has no out pitch, so he's never going to strike somebody out.
Did you see the stat that he had? He threw like 80 pitches or thereabouts in Boston. He had 2 swing and misses.
2 swing and misses. I mean, what are we doing? Why would you, even if you're trying to tank, why would you continue to throw him out there except for the fact that he's making, 14 or 18 million? I think he makes $18 million. No, maybe not 18. Can you effort that, Kyle, how much Miles Michaelis is making in the final year of his? I would love to just go through the seasons of Miles Michaelis.
I think it is. Average annual salary of $18.5 million.
$18 million.
Yeah, 18 this year.
I mean, how many guys? It'd be too much work. How many guys that are 10 times better than him are making less than $18 million? Thousands.
Quite a few, yeah.
I don't know. And did you see that Kyle Hendricks, we lost that game.
Oh, yeah.
We lost. I mean, it wasn't Kyle that got the win, but we lost that game.
Wouldn't you know it?
Right. It's unbelievable.
And that was those games against the Angels, the bullpen.
Yes.
And I know that Helsley's part of the bullpen too, but it was other guys that outside of him. So it's been a rough stretch, and now they get the Phillies.
Oh my God!
And then Houston in back-to-back home series before going 4-gamer on the road against the Mets.
Oh wow!
So
there's really no need to watch the Cardinals.
We shall see.
I mean, I hate to say that though because we
have them on our air.
The Cubs are playing well.
They are.
So
I do want to mention one positive thing. Jordan Walker's been good.
Yeah, he has.
And he's moved up to the 2-hole tonight.
Oh, good.
So
we finally figured out after like 14 games of Wilson Contreras hitting 0.94.
Oh, gosh, it's been
probably
brutal.
ought to move him down.
Been tough.
I mean,
yeah.
Even the games where the Cardinals would score 8 runs, Contreras was 0 for 4.
Yep.
And it's like, how bad are you? And I don't know.
It's still early. He's a good player.
I know. He'll come back around.
Yeah.
The problem is he'll come back around as Lars isn't hitting anymore. Herrera gets hurt, of course.
He is hurt, yeah.
And it's just, we have the most average players in baseball. That's all we are at every position. Like, Ivan Herrera, he's an average catcher, right? Pedro Pages, although the other day Ricky Horton was calling him now even different than Pages.
Oh, really?
Hey, Rick, have you ever heard?
I think was Rick trying to show off his little bit of Spanish flair?
That's exactly
he
where I
does
was
that
going.
Sometimes, it's like, just so you guys know, I am at least semi-bilingual.
I don't know why that drives me nuts, but he will absolutely ham up a Spanish name.
Yeah.
I mean, he just he'll roll the R's and everything, and it's like, okay, Ricky, we know you know how to. Okay, so then Nolan Arenado, he's an average third baseman.
Did you expect Lon to be this? I don't know what the right word is.
I'm almost punched.
There's many
drunk.
words.
There are many words. That is true. I mean, Mason Wynn is an average shortstop right now. He could become good. Your second, of course, Nolan Gorman's hurt because he actually came out hitting. So the two guys that came out guns a-blazing, Herrera and Gorman, are both hurt.
I've been impressed with Herrera, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it's just comical.
I know.
So what, you got Brendan Donovan at second. Now, that is as average of a second baseman as you can get.
On top of that, now he's off to a good start. I like Brendan Donovan as a player.
Too,
I just don't like him as my three-hole hitter.
Right. Exactly.
Which is where he's at.
Yeah. And then, your outfield is just average. Your pitching staff is just
below average.
Or below. I mean, your opening day starter is a 3 on most teams, probably, I assume. Maybe a 2.
On good teams.
Sonny
really good teams.
Sonny can do it.
Yeah.
Fetty's looked decent, except he got just beat around one game.
He's kind of Michaelis-like. He doesn't put people away.
No, he doesn't.
He's a contact pitcher who really has only had one really good year.
Yeah. Then he threw a no-hitter through 6, right, with 75 pitches, and they're like, here's what we're going to do, Eric. We're going to go ahead and take you out. We're really confident in this bullpen.
Which, they held it down. We just didn't hit.
They did.
Then we're like, you know what? Nobody's gotten any runs. Roy Croft, you're in, baby.
Like Palante, I like Palante, but he's just kind of a normal average pitcher.
Yeah.
It's just, this team is just so average. I don't know how else to explain it.
It is. Yeah.
I don't know. But you're right about Jordan Walker.
I got 2 positives. Number 1, they're wearing the red jerseys tonight, and Jordan Walker's hitting second.
Okay.
So beyond that, you'll have to dig for yourself, or they'll have to kind of show us because they've only won 2 of their last 9 games.
And you've got Nola tonight.
Yep.
And you've got Wheeler on Sunday.
Yeah, and Christopher Sanchez in the middle of that who's got like a 1.25
perfect
ERA, and you know who's on the other side on Saturday?
Oh boy.
Who hits one further, Bryce Harper or Schwarber?
I was gonna say, sounds like a home run bet game right there.
Oh,
for the
my
Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh my goodness. Schwarber still living on that home run he hit to the Wrigley Field.
Oh man,
that ball was crushed
off the scoreboard or something like
scoreboard.
that. Yeah.
Oh man,
because the scoreboard isn't right. Correct.
Yeah, over the scoreboard.
Thanks, Kyle.
They still have the ball like it's covered in like a display now on top of the scoreboard.
There, right?
Yeah, it stayed on top of the scoreboard. Nobody touched it, and now they have it sitting there in like a display.
That's so cute. That is just.
It is kind of cute.
Blow up the scoreboard now.
Yeah. Didn't they blow up the Bartman ball? Like a bar
I think
bought
so.
it, and they're like, we're gonna blow it up.
Yeah, Lindy, I agree. Mason Wynn is a positive, but right now he's just an average shortstop. I mean, hell, he started the year 0 for 20. I know he's on a tear now, but I think he's going to become one of the better shortstops. But you can't tell me he's one of the top 5 shortstops in the game, is he?
No.
Or top 10, maybe?
He's got an exciting ceiling, but right now,
I
he's
agree.
Like a 250 hitter.
Yeah.
He is a plus defender.
He is fun to watch defensively.
But
yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's really not a lot to get that excited about watching Cardinals baseball. There just isn't. Because one game, the starters will be great, and then the bullpen sucks. And then Then all of a sudden the starters and the bullpen are both good and the offense can't hit. And there's nothing consistent, although the hitting has been really good.
Been pretty good.
But like you said, they've won what?
Two of the last nine.
Okay.
We're due for one more break. I know I said rapid fire, but then we got stuck on the Cardinals.
Then I talked too much.
People would say that's really surprising.
Yeah. Has Brett Bielema lost weight?
Has he?
I don't know. Has he, Kyle?
I have no idea.
He looks thinner. I mean, I about said he looks thin. He's not thin.
Right.
Sorry, Brett.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not either.
I don't think he's going to try to sell you on that.
Right. I mean, Coach B, I'm right there with you, man. I'm not thin either. But he does look like he's lost some weight. Has anybody else noticed that, or is that just me? Maybe it's whatever he's wearing. Maybe I need to go get whatever he's wearing and put it on. You know? Of course, as we always say, like when you're tan, you just look better.
Yeah.
So he's getting some sun out in the – so like if I go to Florida, I feel like I lost 20 pounds because I'm tan finally and I look like –
There is something about it.
Like you can't see through me.
It tricks the eyes or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Like my legs are so pale right now, you can literally see through them.
Cool guy Phil just hit one in the water.
Oh, boy.
One of us.
And Justin Thomas, have you ever trusted him to do much?
Not much, except for wear white pants on one of the days. Due for a break. We'll finish the show. It is The Drive.
Hey, where are you headed?
To Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola.
What do they have there?
What don't they have there? Living room furniture, benches, chests, love seats, sectionals, tables, bedroom sets, hutches, nightstands, end tables, cabinets, mirrors, stools, clocks, lamps, pillows, rugs, desks, media consoles, patio furniture, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, and more.
So, everything.
Yeah, probably could have just said that.
Kelsey Furniture, quality for less.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Race fans, the World of Outlaws late model superstars are racing to Farmer City Friday and Saturday, April 11th and 12th. It's the storied Illini 100 featuring the most powerful dirt late models on the planet, plus the rising stars of the Extreme Outlaw Midget Series, also tackling the Farmer City Bull Ring. Get $5 off each ticket with the code FARMER when you purchase in advance at worldofoutlaws.com. That's the code FARMER for $5 off in advance. World of Outlaws at Farmer City Raceway, April 11th and 12th. Buy online or call 844-DIRT-TICKS.
Hey, all you backyard chefs and grill gurus, barbecue season is here, and I know that you're anxious to fire up that smoker or grill, but your yard needs mowed. Yes, your wife is getting hangry, but that grass isn't going to cut itself. What's an aspiring pitmaster going to do? Get the world's fastest mower, of course, a Dixie chopper from Dedicated Diesel in Urbana. They carry a full line of Dixie choppers from the Z2 and Magnum residential models up to the big Excalibur and classic commercial machines that can mow nearly 8 acres an hour. This is award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstott, and whether I'm cooking low and slow or hot and fast, I always have time to savor the flavor because my mowing time is cut down by Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest mower. Get your Dixie Chopper at Champaign-Urbana's only dealer, Dedicated Diesel, at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana, 217-328-0562.
It's time for spring cleaning, so why not turn your clutter into something amazing? At the Habitat for Humanity of Champaign County Restore, your donated furniture, appliances, and home goods help build homes, community, and hope right here in Champaign County. Dropping off is easy. Bring donations behind the Restore at 1914 Glen Park Drive during donation hours. Call 217-359-0507 or visit cuhabitat.org to schedule. Declutter your home and change lives. Donate to Restore today.
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you are searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
Everyone deserves a second chance, right? Well, so does that awesome chair someone tossed. 2 Men and a Junk Truck believes in second chances. That's why the Second Chance Garage Sale is happening April 12th, rescuing fantastic items from the landfill and giving them a lease on new life, maybe with you. From 8 a.m. to noon at the 2 Men and a Junk Truck office at 701 West Bradley Avenue in Champaign, Saturday, April 12th. Find details, do good. Visit 2menandajuncktruck.com.
Finishing up on the drive with Sam Piper, ESPN Radio 93.5. Let's toast one to the weekend, the week that was. Masters weekend, definitely one to lift one to. Yeah, Randy's getting after it.
That's funny you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, it just showed up on my screen as well.
Just had 3 double shots. 3 double shots? I mean, you're done for the night. Can you imagine just 6 shots and it's...
He said, let's get the party started. So
4:55.
Just getting going. I like it.
Sometimes I'll get on a roll where I'll get a little double Tito in a short glass.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I at the other day? I said, can I get I said, I want a short glass double Tito's orange juice. So the guy leaves and he comes back and he goes, do you want the orange juice in a separate glass? And I was like, no. And he's like, literally, he did that.
Stumped him.
And I was like, just get me like a short glass with some ice and put a couple shots of Tito's in there and then just add whatever's left of orange juice. I think it freaked him out because there wasn't going to be much left.
There's not going to be much room for orange juice, yeah.
So he's like, maybe I ought to take the dude some orange juice so we can keep adding. I'm like, no, I don't need that. I'm not paying for the orange juice here. I'm paying for the Tito's. That's when you know Lon's in trouble, when that starts happening. That's where you're like, uh-oh, Lon's been drinking beer and now he's going to the double Tito's. Look out!
That's like when we're on the road for Inquire and Joey and I go, when it goes from a couple beers to start ordering up the whiskey diet.
No.
Yeah.
Well, when you get fat like me, it gets a little stuffy. You know, it's like I can't drink another beer.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not stopping.
Right.
You know, I'm not a quitter. So all right,
It's funny how that changes though. Like,
yeah.
You're in college and it's like, oh, drink a 12-pack of beer, you know. Sure.
Like nothing. But
then it's like, yeah.
Is it too late to salute those 2 Final Four games? I mean, because they were really good.
They were
really good.
And if you include the national title, which I know isn't an uglier game, especially early, but all 3, the closing moments were tense and fun. What we ask for in those tournament games, just the drama late.
Did the fan forum on Illini Inquirer blow up because we didn't get a player on One Shining Moment? We just had the fan.
I didn't look. It was Will Riley's
Will's
mom. Yeah. I didn't see.
I didn't
what
know
the
if that was
dialogue
like
that. At least it wasn't like the obvious snub. Like Kyle mentioned earlier that Terrence last year not getting on there.
Right.
Obviously was ridiculous, but
I'm surprised some Illini fan hasn't done a deep dive to where they come out and say this is the first time in 24 years that a team has made the second round of the tournament and not had a player on One Shining Moment. I'm sure somebody out there has researched it. Somebody's going to do it tonight probably now. So, all right.
But Kyle did bring up also a good point that you'd take that over it was, someone on your bench crying because it was like the Kentucky was clearly going to win and then like, oh, here's Illinois. It's I don't want to out somebody, but it's this guy crying.
There's a picture of like a still shot of Merez talking to Dusty May. We're like, I didn't even know Michigan was in the same region. That's interesting. When did Dusty get here? Is that his name, Dusty?
Dusty May, yeah.
He's going to have a good team.
Got a good front court.
Somebody wants to salute the Masters. I agree. I want to
For
salute
sure.
Andrew hitting 91 on the gun. Let's go.
It's a good one.
Good one to salute.
I'm going to salute signing my soon-to-be 3-year-old up for T-ball.
Oh, it's
He's
about
starting next month.
Dang.
Yeah. There were a couple places that we were looking at. They're like, oh, my wife was saying 4's the start, but she kept
really
looking
young.
and found one with 3. Now I thought
Really?
in my head, I'm like, what are those other 3-year-olds going to look like? So that could be one. We're like, oh, are we
that
sure
could-
we didn't want to?
That could be really
wait another year.
Yeah, that could be
Well,
really
we'll get
bad.
him. We'll get him the reps.
The Pipers, like, they found a 3-year-old T-ball league in Kokomo, Indiana.
Uh-huh.
What are you guys doing this tomorrow? We're driving. We're getting up at 4 a.m. Cade's got a